let's see, where to start? So, I remember as a child, my mom only took us to church at Easter and Christmas time. But a couple things I do remember, like, I had a very abusive childhood, and I knew there was a Sunday school church bus that went past my house every Sunday morning. And so, as a way of escaping the house, I would get myself dressed and get on that bus and go to church all by myself. And I didn't have anybody to like foster that relationship or anything. It was just me trying to escape. But these were my first like real tangible experiences with Jesus. And my grandmother would come, when she would come over, she always carried a Bible with her, but I didn't see her very often. But when I did, she would come with little pieces of paper with Bible verses wrote on them, and she would have money wrapped in them, and she would hand them to me and my brother. So those are the things I remember as a child. And then, you know, when I turned 18, my life quickly from the time I turned 18 to 44, like, I experienced a whole bunch of things within that time. And all throughout that process, like, I can, you know, I was in addiction, I was homeless, I was being trafficked, doing street-based sex work, like, all of the things. And in that time, like, I can look back. At the time, I didn't see it, but I can look back and see God's hand over my life. And there's been a few times that I have been locked up, and like I've always held this feeling and this belief that God was real, and but I didn't know how to pursue that relationship. Nobody supported me through that. But I know that every time I went to jail for any length of time, God is who I ran to. And I know a lot of people do. And like, it wasn't something that I did like as an escape. It was just like an inner, something in me that said, this is where you need to go, what you need to do. And sometimes I would get out and stay sober, and sometimes I would get out and use right away. But like I you know, 10 years ago, I remember like my relationship. So I went to a Baptist church when I was a kid, and nobody ever, like, I learned all these things about Jesus and God and all these things, but nobody ever told me that. I always held the belief that I needed to be perfect to be a Christian. And I think that like held me back somewhat. And you know, in December I'll celebrate 10 years of sobriety. This time, you know, I've had 5 prison numbers. I came out in April 2017, and instead of, like, I wasn't on probation or parole or anything, but I spent that whole, like, almost 2 years immersing myself in God, learning everything I can and connecting everywhere I could within the prison. And then when I come out, I had a pastor come and get me and take me to the Women of Excellence program. I didn't have to do that. I just knew. Like, in my sobriety, there's things I didn't let go of. You know, they say you have to change people, places, and things, and all that. And I thought, I can get rid of this, and I can get rid of this, but I want to hold on to this. And it always led me back. And this time, I just wanted to do something different. So I went to Women of Excellence, and I stayed there for some time. But, like, in all of that, I realized that God doesn't, like, He meets us where we're at. We just have to come. And so today, my relationship with God is very strong. I see His hand at work in my life daily. Instead of looking back, I can see it now. I was going somewhere. else, and my ADHD brain is like all the way left. So, yeah, God is definitely a God of second chances, and third and fourth and fifth, whatever it takes. He's there to meet us where we are, hold our hands through, and allow us to change ourselves through His power.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Thank you for listening.
Talk about today.
My path, one thing that I've learned in my path with God, like I talked about how I, shame, I thought I had to be perfect. And one thing I've learned in my walk with God, like I've done a lot of things in my life.
Yes, we do.
I'm not ashamed. Like, and I'm proud of some of them.
You survived it,
No.
baby.
But I'm not ashamed of them. They've made me who I am. And Romans 8:28 tells us all things work together for those who love the Lord, for those who are called according to His purpose.
There it is.
Woo!